There we go. Hey, what up, YouTube? It is OLM. I'm back with another video. And today's video will be inside the world's most luxurious abandoned city never seen before by Yes Theory. I don't want to talk too much. I've been gone for a minute. Let's get into the video, and I hope you enjoy it. If so, please like, share, comment, subscribe, you know, all that YouTube stuff. Let's get it started.
We're in a buffer zone between an active conflict, and in it there's an abandoned international airport.
Yeah.
So wild, man.
This is nuts. This is nuts. This is a bullet. This is a used bullet.
This is about to be a good video.
Look at this, dude. Like frozen in time. Like it is just frozen in time.
I hope they say why it's gonna be abandoned
So, it's the 1970s. Disco, rock and roll, and flared pants are taking over the world. The Vietnam War has ended, and there was a cultural revolution celebrating peace and love.
To end the war and bring peace with honor in Vietnam.
Selling physical products like this is not the best way to make money on Amazon in 2021. And I get it. All you hear about when it comes
Hollywood celebrities are flocking to what many call the jewel of the Mediterranean. Between 1970 and 1974, this place became one of the most popular tourist destinations on the planet, attracting endless celebrities at the time. Luxury hotels were built everywhere in this thriving, growing city that many dreamt of visiting in their lifetime. But this paradise happened to be located in a country where an imminent conflict had been brewing for decades.
For all the dispute between the two communities, President Makarios made it his business. The Turkish Cypriots once again feel genuinely threatened.
Although today you'd expect such a tourist destination to be in the south of France or along the Italian coast, it's in fact located in a country not too many know too much about: Cyprus. The history of this country is immensely complex, having served as a highly strategic location since the dawn of time. But what led this small nation of about 600,000 people to the breaking point?
We prefer to be dead than to live under the Turkish authority.
What led this country to be divided into four? And how did such a popular tourist destination get destroyed and left abandoned for 47 years and overnight get turned into a ghost town 3 times the size of Chernobyl?
Very surreal, strange, and eerie.
Oh, this video looks so good.
We are about to go on potentially one of the most unique abandoned places we've ever explored, because I don't believe anyone has ever been allowed to get actually inside and document it freely. Here we go, another adventure. You know what you can do right now? You can subscribe to this YouTube channel, because 50% of the freaking people that watch it are not subscribed. Can you believe that? Can you believe that?
No.
Mr. Nathaniel Drew is here somewhere, so we're gonna find him and we're gonna prank him. Prankski. I see him, okay. Do we come up from behind? Yeah. Let's see if we can get up from here.
Wait. Whoa.
Okay, because his reaction sucked, we're gonna do it again.
Yeah, okay.
Bro! Oh my God! What are you doing here? I was not expecting that. Wow!
What's up, dude?
Dude, good to see you, man.
Joining me on this trip is my good friend and YouTuber Nathaniel Drew, who I most recently traveled to Albania with. We're in Cyprus. Welcome, dude.
You're welcoming me. Welcome, bro.
The next morning, we met with the man who actually organized this impossible idea for us to be some of the first people in the world to document this abandoned city, Johnny Harris.
Bro.
So good to see you.
I made it. I'm gonna be looking up a lot.
He's even taller than me, so.
What are we doing right now?
We are moving into a country that doesn't exist right now. Right next to a piece of land that belongs to no one. Right next to an EU country.
We are going on a family vacation. Everybody is so excited for this. If you don't know about Vrbo, it's basically whole.
Skip that. Skip that.
Yeah, unfortunately, what Johnny said is a bit more complicated than that and quite hard to understand. So if you wanted to more thoroughly dive into this conflict, you can go watch Johnny's 4 videos that he'll be making here. But I'll do my best to give you a high-level version to understand. As Cyprus had belonged to many empires over centuries, in the 1900s there was a growing movement in Greece to take back some of the land that had once belonged to them, including Cyprus, where 78% of the country spoke Greek. The problem was that another 18% of the population were Turkish-speaking Cypriots. With rising tension between the two sides, it eventually escalated to tragic intercommunal violence erupting in 1963.
At this stage, the Turkish Cypriots were declaring that it would be impossible ever again to live in harmony with their Greek compatriots,
leading to thousands of Turkish Cypriots fleeing their villages to safer areas. And then, 11 years later, in 1974, a coup was attempted by Greece to take over the country. 5 days later that, Turkey responded by invading the country and never left. The Turkish-speaking minority fled their houses all over the country to the north, and the Greek-speaking ones fled their homes in the north to the south, never to come back to their homes again. A buffer zone was created by the UN to separate the two sides, leading Cyprus to become the most militarized country in the world per capita. The north became the unrecognized Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, a country only Turkey otherwise recognizes, and the south stayed as Cyprus. Leaving Varosha, the ghost town we are on our way to now, once inhabited by Greek-speaking Cypriots, abandoned on the northern Turkish side. Traveling between the two sides was only allowed again in 2003, and entering this ghost town had been highly prohibited for decades until this year.
Oh my god. Today is the day. We are going inside the Varosha ghost town. With permission from the Turkish military and from the UN, we are going to be some of the first people to ever capture this ghost town, and definitely the first to ever drone it. So what you're about to see has never been seen before. We have to stay on the roads, no going inside any of the buildings. If we do, we get arrested. There's going to be someone from the press office and someone from the Turkish military escorting us at all times, and the whole place is rigged with cameras.
This specific place was always seen as a bargaining chip. It was never settled with Turks. It was always sort of a war zone.
I didn't want to pause it, but I was thinking, like they was going to really let them, but man, they got people from both sides watching them, making sure they just, cruise through it a little bit. You get to look at it a little bit, cool, but that's still pretty nice, though.
Like it was like a part of the war, and it's right here on the border of North and South. 6 months ago, when the government here was like, oh, by the way, we're opening this up and now people can come and have ice cream here and look at their old house. It's really painful for the people who lived here, who were like, this is my place, like I thought we were gonna get it back, and the Turkish Republic is just like, nope, we'll decide how it works. It's nuts. It's like beautiful beach, idyllic, perfect, and then like cuts off, and then it's like trauma of the past.
Yeah. It's a little ice cream truck playing ice cream music, and then behind us is just decaying.
It's weird to see how they're like, I guess, monetizing this destruction.
Yeah. The scary thing too is you can see every single building is completely fallen apart, because it's not just abandoned, this whole city was also bombed. So the silence inside this place is hard to fathom. You're inside a city and you feel like it should be a lot of laughter and children playing and couples here on their honeymoon, but instead it's just decay and dead silence. This is Cafe Edelweiss. It was like the central coffee shop hangout spot in Varosha. Just imagine hordes of people here on the sort of central area. Some bullets all over that building. It's very heartbreaking to walk through a place like this. It just goes to show that at the end of the day, the real casualties of war are always the civilians. You look around and you wonder, was this really worth it? Was all this waste after building such a beautiful town worth the destruction? Worth the disagreements?
Seeing how vast and haunting this empty city was only left us with more questions as to what this city must have been like. We made a call out to the Yes Fam to see if we could actually meet someone who had witnessed these events. And we're lucky enough to meet a family willing to come and visit their old house with us.
So we have decided to come back, and I put out a message on Instagram a few days ago, and Vic, who's in the Yes Fam, responded to me. And so your family lived here.
Yes.
And they had to flee when the invasion happened, and your family hadn't been back in 47 years until they opened it.
Yeah, to this place, yes.
Yeah. So how old were you when you lived here? 12 to 39?
39.
And then my father was born here.
I was born here in 1964.
In the house that we're gonna see later.
The three generations are walking in front of us, and it's such an eerie frame when you really think about what this means. This was the town that the grandfather built the house in. Their house is literally just around the corner of this place. And they knew every single family and shop owner on the street. And now to just see them strolling around this ghost town that they once lived in is really hard to wrap my head around. I've never been inside an abandoned place with people that actually used to live in that place before. So this is very surreal, strange, and eerie.
This is the Riviera Hotel. That's where we had our last birthday party in June 1974.
This was a paradise.
It was, Tom. It was. I mean, and it hurts just to look at it. I mean, abandoned, rotting. I only hope that one day we will be able to come back for good. Okay, this cannot go on forever. I mean, it's a shame.
And she was sending me that in the morning.
Is it strange for you all to walk here, knowing? I mean, having all these memories. It doesn't feel real being here.
I can't say it.
How does it feel, Pablo? Put in your face.
How I feel like a lion in a cave. They open a small window, but I cannot go out. To go to my house, to touch it. But I don't want to go and touch it. I want to go and stay there and live there.
If you were allowed, would you want to move back here?
Yeah, definitely. If their houses is, let's say, destroyed completely, they will come and put their tent to stay there.
After an extremely emotional and eye-opening day, we wanted to better understand this conflict by getting the perspective of the Turkish side. And after reaching out to the Yes Fam, Tuberk was kind enough to take us to his grandmother, who experienced this conflict firsthand from the Turkish perspective.
You were born here on the northern side?
Yeah, I did, in Nicosia. When I meet people in Europe.
Selling physical products like this is not the best way to make money on Amazon in 2021. And I get it.
They're like, where are you from? I'm from Cyprus. So then you need to speak Greek now. No, I don't speak Greek. I speak Turkish. So it's like even outside of Cyprus, I still feel the division because most of the time the whole world is a little bit ignorant about the whole situation here.
Yeah. So his grandma had to flee from the south to the north, and he's never even asked her about her story because he's afraid of how traumatic it is for her to even just recount it. Hello! How do you say hello?
Salam.
Salam?
So what do you want to ask to her?
I'd love to ask her first, like, you know, where was she born?
Nerede doğdun onu sorar.
Well, how was it living before the separation?
Öncesinde nasıldı peki? Mesela I had like Greek neighbors and like Turkish neighbors. Like we were just breaking up and like they're having coffee together. One day in my house, one day in their house, and like everything was fine. There wasn't any problem.
Gelirken gördü Rumlar hep silah.
Just realized that that Greek people are getting some guns and like other stuff, getting ready for something, and they just wanted to escape. They were just kind of hiding from Greek people because God knows what would happen if they saw them trying to flee.
Silahları görürdük.
She was just like seeing the guns happening, like shooting is happening, like hearing the voices. She was like, if I said if I put my hand outside of the window or something, I will just like got shot. So if they stayed in her house, she knew that they would kill them.
Has she been back to that house since she left?
O ilk evine gittiğin sonra hiçbir şey. She went there, but there was nothing inside. They just like basically took everything. They destroyed everything. They just burned her clothes and like her husband's clothes and everything. There was even like nothing to take, and they just basically started a new life from the point zero because they didn't have anything left, and they had 4 children at that time. She's like, tell them that it was really hard to just start from nothing.
Does she have any hope for resolution?
She's like, I want it, but I don't believe it. She also wants to see them be in peace. She doesn't want to see them get any harm to themselves, you know.
Thanks for her. I know this is very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Situation,
So she's asking coffee?
Sure.
So it's the Cypriot way of saying biscuit.
Want some?
To make it like they all have this. Yeah, you should. If I come to visit you, you need to have this coffee. Oh yeah. Bye bye.
As humans, our brains are sadly very binary in the way that we look at people around us. We either see people as us or as the other, whatever criteria we use to separate ourselves. And once we make that distinction, studies have shown that our empathy towards the other is greatly diminished, leading to the wars that have existed since the dawn of time. At one point, the Greek and Turkish-speaking Cypriots lived peacefully together. Yet the moment larger forces pushed the local inhabitants to identify with a side and pin them against each other, it created a slippery slope where the only ones who lost were the ones who once saw each other as one. In many ways, I do feel that as a global community, if we could all remember that we really are on the same side, that maybe we could more efficiently solve some of the global problems our planet is currently facing. But maybe those are just my hopes as a disillusioned optimist. In the meantime, I hope that our stories like this can serve as a reminder and plant a seed for a more inclusive perspective in your view of the world. This trip reminded me of a quote that my friend Barakan said to me a year ago when I traveled around the Kurdish region of Iraq with him.
Nowadays, politicians, they just spread hate to divide us in order to rule us easily.
Unfortunately, there was no fairy tale ending in this story. This conflict is considered one of the more complicated ones to solve in recent history, yet many young locals feel it's been forgotten by the rest of the world. So, towards the end of my trip seeking answers, I was introduced to a young bi-communal organization called the Bi-Communal Network, bringing together young people from both sides to bridge the gap and initiate conversation to hopefully one day live in a country with peace.
If people are still hopeful and show to the world that there is a community, a small community that feels Cypriot, nothing else, no other labels, no Greek side, no Turkish side, to build the strong foundations for younger people to start planning on a better Cyprus, like a united Cyprus.
It needs to be more sort of a process, not just a one-night thing. So we need to start by talking to each other, seeing it more as something to build up on and not just something we can do in one night, and start working towards reconciliation.
If people just say, do you want peace? Yes, I do. By the time they say that and they believe it, I believe they will start building the new unified island.
Thank you for watching. As you can imagine, based on how complicated this story was, this was a tricky story to tell. And writing those voiceovers was a minefield and one of the most complicated stories I've ever had to tell before. So I appreciate you watching all the way until the end. Before we go, I do want to thank the sponsor for today's video, which is Audible. I'm currently listening to a very relevant book to today's episode called Tribes by Seth Godin, which explains how we all have the innate ability to become great leaders and create real change, which is completely what I saw with the youth in Cyprus. I've been traveling a lot over the past few months, and having Audible allows me to listen to amazing audiobooks like this one wherever I am. If you go to audible.com/yestheory or text YesTheory to 500-500, you get one free audiobook, a 30-day trial, and you get to explore the new Plus catalog, which has thousands of select audiobooks, podcasts, Audible originals, guided fitness, meditation program, sleep tracks for better rest, and more. Audible members also get one free credit a month, good for any title in the premium selection of bestsellers or new releases to keep forever. So go to audible.com/yestheory or text YesTheory to 500-500 to start your free trial, and we will see you next week.
Hey man, we might all have to tap into that now. You never know. Now you might need something to read. But this video right here was a amazing video. I really like this. No wonder it's 14 on trending. This needs more views within the next few days, and I'm just hoping that a lot of people get to see this video, bro, because it was just good production, good storytelling. We got to see both sides and how they want to come together, especially within the youth. This is a beautiful video by Yes Theory, and if you like this video, you know, from me reacting, I hope that you can, you know, like it, share, subscribe again, all the YouTube things, and I will catch you on another one, you guys. OLM is out. Peace.